1 month of the transfer window left. Hello, I am the Irish guy, and right then, okay, let's grade every Premier League club's latest transfer target, the player they are actively trying to sign. Right, let's go. Arsenal, Eberechi B. Yeah, Arsenal have been drooling over Eberechi all summer long. And Crystal Palace should be thankful that Eze is a model pro, because we haven't heard a whimper of dissent from him all summer. I mean, the media keeps saying that he's keen on a return to the club who dumped him when he was 10. Yeah, he may be keen, but he's still got on with his job at Palace, played in their pre-season, done well. He's kept his head together. You don't see him going on strike, threatening to wee in the canteen microwave if they don't let him leave. I mean, considering he's 27 years old, this is the last big transfer move of his career. It's either now or never, so to his absolute credit, there's not even a whiff of an entitled Lindsay Lohan attitude off this bloke. Oh yeah, if Arsenal could get this England international attacking midfielder in their squad, he would provide unbelievable competition for Martin Odegaard as the team's number 10. What an unbelievable player to have waiting on your bench. Honestly, Arsenal's depth would be scary. Aston Villa, Samu Agahawa A. Finally, there's a flicker of an exciting transfer rumor for the Aston Villa fans. Because let's be real, this summer for them has been about as exciting as any single episode of Grey's Anatomy. All Villa fans have had to put up with is other clubs flirting with Ollie Watkins, who everybody assumes now hates Unai Emery after he dumped him for Rashford in the Champions League. Seriously, the media are trying to pretend that Watkins is holding such a furious grudge that yeah, he'd probably sneak into the Spaniard's house to leave a poo in his fridge. But no, lads, Villa were never going to sell both Duran and Watkins in the same year. Not without signing a big name striker themselves. But hey, today they're interested in Porto's Samu Agahawa. A 21-year-old Spain international striker just smacked home 27 goals for Porto last season. Yeah, by the way, this is the guy who Chelsea were inches away from signing from Atletico Madrid last summer, back when his name was Samu Amarodian. I guarantee there will be people out there who'll be thinking that Amarodian and this Agahawa geezer are two different people. But listen, this is one of European football's next big strikers, so a move to Villa would be a scary coup. He'd be the most exciting centre-forward signing since Darren Bent. Well, Bent was good. Bournemouth, Bafode Diakite C. Look, Bournemouth really need to sign some defenders. And quick! Andoni Iraola, can you please wake up from your nap? You are on the verge of signing 75% of your back four in the same window. So please, for the love of squirrel juice, go out there and buy some actual defenders, or I'm going to be terrified about where I'm going to predict you to finish next week. Look, the Cherries are interested in 24-year-old French centre-back Bafode Diakite, who plays for Lille and can literally play anywhere across the back line. Centre-back, left-back, right-back doesn't matter. So for the versatility alone, I don't care that he's not come close to a senior France international cap. I don't care that he's the French John O'Shea. I don't care that he's about as glamorous as a pig with makeup. For versatility alone, get him in now. Brentford, Amari Hutchinson D+. Let's get it right. This has been a horrendous summer window for Brentford. It might just be the single worst transfer window I've ever witnessed from a Premier League club. But hey, they've got a month to save it. They're just gotta hope that their potential signings are going to agree to play under the mother of all managerial rookies like in Keith Andrews. And it really doesn't help when Johan Wissa would clearly rather swap his pillow for a porcupine than play even a minute under this grubby failed pundit. But look, the transfer saga right now is Brentford trying to tie up a £35 million deal for Ipswich Town's want-away winger Amari Hutchinson. This was a huge name in London academy circles back when he was a teenage kid, but he's instead grown up to have a scarily confusing international career. I've never seen anything like this in my life. Come on, how do you make your debut for the senior Jamaica team in 2023 and then turn your back on that entirely for the England under 21s? The only way he could have offended that country more is if he returned to the island to take a piddle on Bob Marley's grave. But look, he's a talented and quick 21-year-old winger. Oh, come on, he was just relegated, averaging a goal every 10 matches. Seriously, Brentford, you can get much better business overseas. First of all, Alison Maximin is 5 times the player that Hutchinson is, and he just signed for a team in Mexico for virtual pennies. Oh, poor Alan, what a waste. Brighton, none. Yeah, Brighton's transfer business is done. Next, Burnley, Martin Dubravka C+. Look, Burnley need a goalkeeper, but whoever they get, it's going to be a downgrade on James Trafford. Let's be real, okay? Martin Dubravka is a decent goalie, and it makes sense why Scott Parker wants to bring him to Burnley. But do you think any Premier League coach would be that excited about signing anyone's third choice goalie? Poor old Dubravka. This guy was on the verge of a money-spinning move to the Saudi Pro League in January. But anyhow, sweet talks him around. He gets a new Magpies deal, but after playing in the League Cup quarters and the semis, he gets cruelly dropped for Pope in the final. And after recently being part of a 6-game winning run in the Premier League, oh no, he still gets benched for the final third of the season as well. And now, just months after turning down bags of gold in the desert, he's seen Newcastle sign another goalie to bump him down to third choice, and he's now being offered a move to Burnley. He was going to become a very rich man in January, and now he's probably just going to get paid in skittles and a hug. Look, the Slovakian is a decent goalie, but he turns 37 soon, and he's always had a mistake in his game. Seriously, I can promise you, if this deal goes through, he's going to make an absolutely horrendous blunder a match of the day. Similar to what Ariana Muric did for Burnley 2 seasons ago. He's going to be okay, but despite being a former Manchester United goalkeeper somehow, still a huge downgrade on Trafford. Chelsea, Alexander Garnacho D. What is the point? For the second season in a row, Chelsea are trying to babysit one of Man United's rotten eggs. I mean, lads, was Jadon Sancho a success story at Stamford Bridge? An undeniably talented left winger whose attitude stinks worse than a penguin's armpit? I'm gonna say meh. His Premier League stats were literally identical to Hutchinson, who the club sold to Ipswich. 31 games, 3 goals. He was so unimpressive that not even Borussia Dortmund are keen on taking him back. Garnacho is Sancho, the sequel. A brilliant player, yes, but he's also on the naughty step at Old Trafford because he's clearly got the work ethic of a crippled squirrel. He's your quintessential football brat. Chelsea, you don't need to do this again. Garnacho will be another Sancho. You're wanting to take in another problem child. It's a bit like adopting the girl of the Exorcist film. Crystal Palace, none. Yeah, just like Brighton. Crystal Palace also seem to be done in this transfer window. They're more bothered about getting back into the Europa League. Everton, Kieran Dewsbury-Hall C. Everton are busy. After just failing with a £27 million bid for Southampton's mini Jack Grealish in Tyler Dibbling, somebody who had a laughably insane £100 million price tag on his shoulders just months ago. Yeah, well, the Toffees have now, today, chucked in a bid for Chelsea's modern-day Danny Drinkwater. Kieran Dewsbury-Hall has barely featured in a Chelsea shirt, right? Yeah. Lads, here's an insane stat to wrap your head around. What if I told you that he was just 4 games shy of 40 in his debut season at Chelsea? Yes, 36 games of football for this average lump of cheesecake. That's insane because it really did feel like spotting him in a Chelsea shirt was rarer than catching Kathy Bates at the gym. Look, he was only given 2 Premier League starts last season. He just racked up his appearances in that European competition. For footballers who probably auditioned for Clarkson's Farm, he's spellboundingly average and it's surprisingly old. He turns 27 next month. Isn't that the age where all the rock stars are found dead on the toilet? But yeah, if Everton get him, another James Garner, okay? He is someone who's both English and Irish, and he has never been capped by either nation at any age level. He's a fine signing, but oh so average. The modern day Leon Osman. Fulham, Amin Adli, C+. Yeah, there's not much going on at Craven College right now either. But apparently Fulham have an interest in Bayer Leverkusen's 25-year-old winger Amin Adli, who's a Morocco international and clearly a talented player, but he just had an injury-plagued season in Germany and only scored 2 goals. Look, for a cheap price, fine. Leeds, Bilal El Khanous B+. Yeah, right now, Leeds United made an inquiry for Leicester City's Morocco international attacking midfielder, Bilal El Khanous. Yeah, despite an absolutely hideous relegation, El Khanous still looked okay, showing flashes of ability in what was a stupendously awful Leicester City team. Look, he's got a release clause of £24.5 million, but that expires on August the 15th. Honestly, I'm guessing the new Leicester boss, Martin Cifuentes, is contemplating hiding El Khanous in a wheelie bin for the next week, because this would be a bargain buy for anyone. Honestly, if Daniel Farke can get this deal done, this would be a hugely beefed up Leeds midfield. Liverpool, Alexander Isak A+. This transfer makes me want to bite off all my fingers. I don't even want to admit that this deal might happen. I don't want to consider that Newcastle lose Alexander Isak to Liverpool. Lads, when the Magpies sold Andy Carroll to Liverpool in 2011, it was painful, but let's be real. Newcastle were going nowhere fast, but Isak, the club have just won a trophy, are trying to build something. There's a Champions League season kicking off in weeks, so losing Isak now to a Premier League rival, that would hurt more than letting a bear kick you in the groin. But for Liverpool, I'm saying it now, if they were to sign Isak, it would be the exact same as when Man City signed Aguero, or when Man United got Van Persie. Game over, but boy, I really hope this doesn't happen. Man City, Lucas Paqueta C+. What, is it 2023 all over again? Lucas Paqueta must feel furious. 2 summers ago, he was on the verge of an £80 million move to Man City. Literally, Fabrizio Romano practically had his finger hovering over the H on his keyboard. It was close. A dream, glamour, life-changing move for the Brazil international. And then the FA ruined it by accusing him of fixing matches, with everyone saying he was getting booked on purpose, and so the bloke's career was put on pause. And it's only now, after finally being cleared 2 years of mid-table mediocrity later. Oh yeah, now West Ham are wanting rid, but apparently Man City are wanting him again after being scared away. Lads, did Paqueta look like a world-class midfield beast in a Hammer shirt? No, but I think he's one of those players who would shine for a world-class team who dominate possession in every single match. I think Paqueta at Man City would cook like a manic chef. Man United, Benjamin Sesko B+. Manchester United need a striker. They do, because Rasmus Højlund has shown he is about as clinical as a soggy banana. And Benjamin Sesko is the obvious shout. A 15-ish goal a season striker for RB Leipzig in the Bundesliga. He's tall, strong, powerful. The Slovenian looks like the perfect fit. Amorim's very own version of a Gyökeres. And squeezing him into a front three with a Bemo and Cunha, yeah. Suddenly, Ruben Amorim would have a forward line that doesn't make him want to barf into his lunch. Look, he's like a mini Ibrahimovic, sure. But is he going to be a Premier League success? I don't know. I really don't, because he could absolutely morph into one of these overrated flops. I mean, lads, Radamel Falcao was one of the most dangerous centre-forwards on the planet. He was like the Colombian Adriano, so when he failed at Old Trafford, looking like a squeamish bunny rabbit at just 28, then lads, any striker could fail at Man United. So Sesko, he could be great. But I would also not be shocked to see him turn into a pathetic yogurt, or is it yogurt? Newcastle, Benjamin Sesko D-. So Manchester United and Newcastle United are fighting over a striker yet again. Lads, Newcastle won the race for Alan Shearer in 1996. Man United equalised with pitching Wayne Rooney in 2004. So right now, the scores are 1-1. This is it. The battle for Sesko. Which club are going to be the ones to sign him? I'm going to say this. I hope Man United get him. Seriously, because Newcastle just lodged a £70 million bid for him over the weekend. But if this goes through, then it is proof that Isak is gone. I don't want that. I absolutely do not want to see the Magpies sell one of the best strikers in the world to Liverpool, only to replace him with a 13-goal-a-season striker. No! Sesko is a talent, sure, but he's absolutely not in the same league as Isak. Once Newcastle find a replacement, they're selling Isak. Well, then I don't want them to find a replacement. It's like your mother coming home and telling you that she's going on a selection of Tinder dates, and if she finds someone suitable, then she's gonna dump your dad. Yeah, you're probably gonna hope all those Tinder dates are creeps. Man United have nothing to lose in signing Sesko, so it would be a perfect B+ signing. But if Newcastle sign Sesko, then they are losing their best player since Shearer. Losing a world-class source of guaranteed goals in Isak to just buy an unproven player from the Bundesliga and suddenly hoping that he clicks at St. James's Park without a pre-season. Ahead of a Champions League campaign, a competition where the guy has lost 7 of his last 8 matches in it. Oh, lads, I'm scared. Nottingham Forest at amateur D. What? That's, I know, the illusion of Adama Traore is spectacular. He's a massively strong but deceptively quick, speedy ox of a footballer. Seriously, how can somebody built like a rhinoceros still be one of the quickest wingers in the league? The thought of Traore is wonderful. It's why he wound up back at Barcelona on loan. It's why he was given 8 Spain caps after turning his back on Nali. However, the harsh reality of Traore is that he's got the end product of a block of cheese. But yeah, Forest, seriously, don't bother. Sunderland mark you D-. So Sunderland are signing the modern day Bojan, right? Wrong. Look, on paper, sure, Sunderland are wrapping up a loan deal for a teenage Chelsea striker who scored his first ever La Liga goal, which is his second ever touch for Barcelona. He's the fastest and youngest ever debutant to score for Barca. And he also scored in the Champions League at 17. This is all wonderful stuff, but I just think he's the Barcelona version of Federico Maqueda. A couple of lucky touches at 17, and then he has a career no more impressive than a cat burger. Gu was never really given a sniff at Stamford Bridge. I mean, sure, he scored a hat-trick against a bunch of Irish milkmen. Weirdly, I was at that match. I still have no idea why. Look, on paper, this is a Spain under-17 goal machine striker, sure, but I just think he's the Spanish Ryan Brewster. Someone who peaks at 18. This reminds me of Newcastle signing an Italian Bundesliga striker Giuseppe Rossi on loan from Man United. It looked like a coup in 2006, but he literally did nothing. Tottenham Rodrigo A+. Okay, Tottenham need a replacement for Son Heung-min, who's gone back to being best buddies with Hugo Lloris in LA. But look, they are linked with Real Madrid winger Rodrigo, and if he comes, it would be an amazing signing, but it's not gonna happen. Surely not. West Ham, Mats Hermansen B. West Ham need another goalie after Lucas Fabianski has finally retired at about 63 years of age. And yeah, the Hammers have made an inquiry about Leicester City #1 Mats Hermansen. Look, I know he just picked the ball out of his own head about 1,000 times last season, but the 25-year-old is a good player. I mean, Enzo Maresca tried to bring him to Chelsea last summer. This would be a really sensible signing. A quality player to really have a proper go at trying to squeeze Alphonse Areola out of the team, bringing in a modern ball-playing goalie like Hermansen. This would be a smart deal. Wolves, Juan-Lu Sanchez C. Juan-Lu Sanchez is causing a mess because he's an exciting 21-year-old Spain under-3 international winger at Sevilla, who Wolves are trying to pinch from Napoli talks. And apparently Everton are now trying to steal him from Wolves talks. Everyone wants Sanchez right now, and look, if Wolves can get him, he could be an exciting, brilliant coup, or he really could be another Fabio Silva. Honestly, I can totally see Wolves signing him and immediately setting him out on 4 separate loan spells. I mean, when both Pedro Goncalves and Vitinha were both ignored at Molineux, then nobody is safe. Anyway, that's the video. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Let me know. How would you grade your targets? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, please. I'll talk to you in a while.